Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Jayar, and let's please welcome today's Thursday afternoon chat. It is the legendary Hope Darst. Hello.
Hello, Jayar. I can't even pretend like we haven't already been laughing
I know.
for like 45 minutes.
I'm going to make it sound to the audience that they just ushered you in.
I know, I feel like it's
And that I have a team of people that would usher people
That's
in.
right. You're that
Yeah.
you're like that big time that like it was a whole thing.
Yeah. I never go get my own artist at the door.
Oh my gosh. I never open my own door.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Mostly because I'm a germ freak. They know I won't touch it. But
Really?
It's
Are you a little bit of a germaphobe?
little is thank you.
Oh.
It's actually, I feel like my when I first came to the Joy FM, I had a hook that would attach to my keychain. And so you
There's
push
a
a
lot of
button.
things that went through my brain. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I just immediately imagine like Hook from Peter Pan.
It looks like that. And it tucks into the key fob thing, and you push the button and it goes, and it's a hook so that you can always grab a door handle, which when I walk up on a round door handle, I'm like, you guys didn't think of this, because I'm sitting here just clawing a metal tennis ball knob.
Just imagine being the person behind you, trying to like just watching you try to get in the door.
I know if I put this hook around this knob, I can.
So like, how long has this been a thing for you?
Well, I stopped after a couple of years because I'm like, wait, there's so many germs on this hook. I'm putting it back into my pocket every time.
That's a good point.
That's when I became a sleeve guy. But the pandemic sort of mellowed me because once I got COVID a couple times and was fine, I'm like, maybe this isn't so bad.
Maybe I don't need to have a hook.
The hook was a decade
It was already
gone.
It was done. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But just being a germ freak in general, I feel like the pandemic almost solved a lot of where I'm just like,
Well, I mean, that's kind of good.
yeah.
I'm not a germ person, but I'm easily grossed out by dirty things.
Okay.
So like if you go into these like fast serve, what do you call them? Like fast service where you can still sit down restaurants.
Oh, so not fast food,
It's not fast food, but it's like, it's got like a bar, like Chopped or Kava
Payway.
or Chipotle or any of that kind of stuff.
You could eat here, but you're going to be sitting next to people who are running and grabbing and going.
Yeah, but it's interesting because like if I go through that line in that buffet, like there's just food everywhere. Like I'm like, I'm out. I can't do it. Like there's so many restaurants like I've like that I've walked into, gone in line with my family to order, and I see how like just there's cucumbers and the tomatoes and there's just like and I'm like, I'm done. I'm not hungry anymore. So it's not like a germ thing, but it is like a dirty thing.
Right.
And that's probably like, how else are they gonna like not spill food into the other thing? Like they're not even doing anything wrong. It's just visually I'm like, I'm done.
I was about to say, well, we can land on the moon, but we can't solve things like this. Like, how can somebody use tongs at a salad bar?
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
Like like in the doctor's office, they don't put the same thing on your tongue that the previous person
that's true.
Let's just make new ones. Make it out of wood. Replace. Why not reusable tongs in a salad bar? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I struggle with is buttons that are pushed by everyone, like
like an elevator button.
elevator
How
button.
have we not figured that one out?
Or the credit card machine where it's the same, like
The numbers.
but one that gets hit every time.
Yeah, I do appreciate the new like tap, like with the card.
Oh yeah.
Because like you don't have to touch it if you don't want
Yeah.
to. But it is a funny thing. Like when my husband and I met, my friends knew I was kind of weird about sharing food.
Yeah.
Can't share food. That's just too far. Like if you want my food, have at
Right.
it. Here's my plate. I don't want it back. Like just don't give it back to me. And so when I was dating my husband, I went to the movies with him and my best friend. And he was like, I'm going to go get snacks. And we're like, we'll go get seats. And I just wasn't thinking about it in the moment. And he comes back and there's only one drink with 2 straws and popcorn.
Yeah.
And my best friend like could see like all the wheels turning in my brain of like, what is she gonna do? Because like I wasn't about to share that drink with him. Oh, sorry, there was 1 straw, drink, 1 straw, not 2 straws. And I was like, I'm sweating. Like I'm sitting in the seat and I'm sweating and I'm like, you know what? I got to give in. Like, did you know what? This is the moment. I think this is the guy I'm going to marry. This is going to be fine. Like I'm like going through all this in my brain. So eventually like I shared the drink with her. And after the movie she walks up and she goes, you're going to marry him, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like that's how extreme my like not sharing was. So now I don't care. I'll share with him whatever.
This person went on a date with
It was a bunch of friends.
Okay, so it wasn't just the
It wasn't
three
just
of
the
you.
three of us. Yeah, there was more people. I just like stuck to the main characters.
It's
of
like
the story.
that's a great friend. She's like, I'll
Third
just
wheel.
come with you guys,
That's true.
and I'll drink from the same straw.
She became my best friend because I went on a date with her cousin, and we didn't know each other. It was almost like a blind date. So he brought her and her boyfriend at the time, and by the end of the date, I didn't even remember his name. Like, I just basically connected with her.
Okay.
And so I got like a best friend out of that blind date.
Oh,
and
good.
so, it worked out fine. So I think she was like, I'll go on any date.
Right, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's drink from the same
We were
drink,
friends.
whatever. Let's establish a couple of things in this
Okay.
room right now. Let's talk about the green screen. At the end of this interview, I'm going to be handed an envelope, and it's going to alert you and me, because I don't know, what the background setting is that we've been talking in front of
so
this
we
whole
don't
time.
know.
We don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's actually green, so I can't see anything.
But online and socials,
They're all seeing it.
We just don't know what it is.
That's
So
really funny.
it could be a horrible setting.
What's it been before?
We've had things like being on the moon, or we've had a Circle K parking lot.
What about a Buc-ee's?
We haven't gone upscale yet.
Done a Buc-ee's. You haven't gone upscale.
We started with
That's fancy town.
We started with an old 76 station with 2 pumps, and we'll work our way up to Buc-ee's.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you don't have on a Buc-ee's costume in one of these pictures.
I didn't want you to think we were that bougie around here.
It's fancy. I went to one for the first time this year.
Oh, really? Me too.
It was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overstimulating.
What's
within
funny is that
seconds.
I end up getting the same thing every time, but it's something that you can get
Anywhere?
anywhere.
I didn't get anything. I couldn't land on anything because I was just like, there's so much happening. There's a jerky bar. There's a fudge bar. There's a barbecue bar.
Yeah.
There's home goods. And then I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
I've been about 6 times now in the past year.
Oh.
And I have a conspiracy theory that all those people are staged.
They're not real.
Because
they just move from Bucky to Bucky.
It's always, they're paid actors, and it's always the same volume of people no matter what time of day or night. You can't move.
It was crowded.
They're running around. They're excited to be
Yeah.
there. They're all fake.
They're all hired.
They are hired actors. If you watch right before they hit the back employee room, they're like, oh gosh, it's my break. And they go rest in this lounge. Somebody else comes out to replace them.
I was very disappointed in myself. I went like the week before Halloween, and it didn't even cross my mind to get the Buc-ee's mascot costume.
Yeah.
I could have been that for
Yeah.
Halloween. I didn't think about it. So maybe I'll circle back in
Oh, yeah.
2023.
But watch them.
I'm gonna watch all the people now.
The day I really knew
I'm
this
gonna
was
apply.
real,
I'm gonna be like, hey, I don't know if this music thing's working out. Are y'all hiring?
you're talking to the cashier going, hey, where do I,
Where do I sign up for this?
Let
me in. Let me in.
The day I knew it was real was when I finally went to go get one of those the sandwiches.
Oh yeah, the pulled pork sandwiches.
Because I'm like, everybody's walking around with one of these. They must be amazing. So I got one. Then I saw it was $9, and I'm like, you guys are all fake. None of you would pay $9
at
for
a
this.
gas station?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay $9 at an actual restaurant.
Yeah. A little sandwich, and I'm like, $9. These people are fake.
I was just like, who has a jerky bar?
Yeah.
That feels weird to me.
I like that, but again, I'm cheap.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
don't
like,
want. Yeah, honestly, just give me a Slim Jim.
yeah.
I love a Slim Jim.
I'm a Slim Jim girl too. Oh, let's talk about this wheel.
Okay.
This wheel, we're gonna spin it throughout this. I think you and I should just chat because I think we don't need a wheel.
We
but,
don't. We're better than this
so,
wheel.
Yeah, so we're so there's lots of questions. There's general questions. There's questions specific to Hope Darst. There's fantasy world questions. There's a prize. That somebody
Like I win a prize?
Yeah, you win a prize.
Or someone else wins a
You,
prize. Oh.
not one of the listeners. The prize is you. So let's just give it a go here.
Okay. When I saw this wheel, I asked you if this was Wheel Unfortunate from anyone who follows Dude Perfect. And I'm still scared. Like as soon as I roll this, it's just gonna flip and all this.
See all the darker color ones?
Yeah.
That's where we
I can't
throw
really
something.
make out what it says, so I'm curious. Okay, here we
have
go.
an electric shock that we
gonna-
put on you.
We're gonna find out if I have weak wrist or not. Oh, that felt sad.
Good.
Oh, what does that say?
Would you rather?
Would you rather? Ooh.
Yeah. Would you rather be in jail for 5 years? No, I'm gonna skip this one. Would you rather be? Nope. Would you rather? Would you rather have landed on something else on the wheel?
I think you would have rathered.
Would you rather lose your sight or your memories? If you had to pick.
Oh, my memories, because I've already I have
Blocked
trash
everything
memory
out.
anyways. So
I'm already halfway
I'm
there.
halfway there, yeah. So it's fine.
9th grade. His name was Billy. That started it all. Would you rather swim in a pool of Nutella or a pool full of maple syrup?
Syrup.
Okay.
Nutella. You can't swim in Nutella. It doesn't move.
You can do a lot of things when you're like.
You have imagination.
Well, no. What's that called where you could lift a car? Adrenaline.
Well, adrenaline? Why would I have adrenaline
If I
swimming
was
in
in-
Nutella?
Well, if I was in Nutella, I would have a panic mode like I'm stuck.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
adrenaline
saying.
would kick in.
No, I would just be like, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
There's no point in swimming. At least in maple syrup, I can move.
Mate, could you though?
Yeah. It's not like molasses.
I feel like in Nutella, I would panic, like I'm stuck, and I would churn that into butter. like I would move
It's close to butter already.
If you shake it, would it turn to butter? I don't know. Syrup also, I feel like you could go straight to the bottom of the pool.
Maybe. I feel like, have you seen, and speaking of Dude Perfect, have you seen that episode where they make the guy swim in syrup and then they just throw feathers on him? And you're like,
It's the new tar and feathering.
Yes, it was terrible.
Syrup and feathering.
I was stressed watching it. I was like,
Do you think that would come off in one shower?
no.
That's probably a part of your month.
Yeah. You're stuck with feathers for a while.
Everything you touch.
It's just-
Like in Chevy Chase Christmas Vacation, he's reading.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go one more.
All right.
Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall?
11 feet.
Okay, let's break that down. There's no vehicle you can ride in. You're stared at.
I don't need a ride. I'm 11 feet. My stride when I run gets me everywhere. 9 inches just makes me think of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And
Yeah.
that gave me nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
At 11 feet, no one can accidentally step on me and kill me.
So you're not going to die, but your life is going to be, everybody's going to stare at you.
Somebody's been 11 feet before and they made it.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm assuming.
I
What's
thought-
the tallest
I
person
thought
that's
9
ever
was-
lived?
I feel like 8 something was the cap.
Really? Have you heard of this story called David and Goliath? Actually, who knows how tall he was? He could have been 7 feet.
I think
and
people
that was
know.
a giant. I mean,
Oh,
I think do they know in history how tall Goliath was?
I think they can break it down.
Oh, really?
Once it hits meters, though, and stuff, I'm out.
Oh gosh, no. Actually, my kids were telling me about the metric system the other day, and I just I was like, "What is our system? I don't. It's not the inches system. I know that's not the name of it.
We're the feet people. We're feet and inches.
What is our? Do we know? Does anyone know? Do you know?
Celsius, is that a thing?
No, that is it's Fahrenheit and
Oh,
Celsius.
yeah.
That's temperature.
Yeah.
And we are not Celsius.
You guys use meters. We use Celsius. That's all I know.
Wow. Clearly, we are not homeschooling our children.
I'm a community college student dropout.
Well, I'm a college dropout too.
Oh, no, I'm community college.
I mean, that's a different level.
That means I paid in change.
I went to LSU and dropped out after 3 semesters.
You're not old enough to have gone there when Shaq was there.
No.
Okay.
I appreciate that you don't think I'm old enough.
That's why I purposely said it wasn't a confident you're not, but I did say you aren't old enough.
Confident enough.
Let's let's give the wheel another spin here. Oh, the anticipation. General. Okay, here we go. These are meant for any of the guests.
This wasn't specific
As if
to
general
me.
is some Latin word that I threw in to throw you. General.
Okay.
Actually, I've not asked you this. I've asked a lot of artists this over the years, but I just love this question.
Okay.
What was one of the perks of one of your parents' job growing up?
Oh, okay. So my dad was a pastor, and that just, it kind of meant you just had always had access to whatever snacks
Oh, yeah.
were like in the kitchen of the church. Like no one was stopping the pastor's kid when you're like swiping a Coke. You
Yeah.
know, like no one's like, you can't have that. And like immediately you would just be like, it's my dad's church.
You just don't touch bread or juice.
Yeah, you
grape
don't eat the
juice.
bread and like don't steal the communion like stuff. That's I feel like that's just
gonna be used.
There's lightning that
Yeah.
comes in that situation. But yeah, I would just always steal the snacks from like the kitchen and it was great. We always had those like little animal cookies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There was like a plethora of those. And then that little round cookie that had the hole in it. I don't know what that was called. It was like it looked like a flower. I ate my weight in those things. It still shows. No, I'm just kidding.
Were you talking the animal cookies that have no frosting or the pink and white?
These had no frosting. Are you kidding? I was born in the 80s. We didn't have frosting yet.
And it was the church.
And it was the church. That was expensive. That was bougie.
Yeah, with the sprinkles.
Yeah, we didn't get those.
Okay.
We just got like the literal like animal box.
In the Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah, that looked like the circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we got.
Okay.
I loved it.
So did you get access? Is this where you cut your vocal chops, having access to the church?
I mean, my dad was putting a microphone in my hand by the time I was 3.
Okay.
So he was like sit me up like on a little chair and make me sing a song like at the end of the sermon. So, yeah.
And would that have been
so.
what was that show before American Idol where it was like Michael Jackson was on? Like there was a big talent.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, Star Search.
Star Search.
That shows our age.
Yeah. There are kids that can reference American Idol like my parents were into American Idol.
My kids can't reference American Idol. That's how
Wow.
they're now like
Voice.
The Voice.
Or Masked Singer.
Or and America's Got Talent.
Yeah.
That's really like their thing. So yeah, they're like American Idol, huh? I tried out for it once, didn't make it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What process?
Well, like I won like a local talent like competition with the radio station or the news station.
Okay.
And so they're like, you get access. You don't have to wait in the line.
Ooh.
And they're like following me around with cameras and like drop me off in a limo. I don't even make it past the first round. So you can imagine like walking out. They're like, how did it go? Didn't make it.
Got a
And,
free
like,
ride.
Immediately the camera's like off.
Well, and they don't even give you the limo ride home.
Oh gosh, no. No, we were done. They were like looking for the next person who was getting through.
That's just crazy. All the perks go away.
Yeah, it was like an immediate curtain down.
If every pastor at a church in your church got sick in one weekend and couldn't make it in, and they called, this is actually a serious question.
Okay.
And they called your name up last minute. Hope, could you come up and talk for 30 minutes to the congregation? What do you think you could share about from the heart that's happened that you'd be like, yeah, I could talk for 30 minutes on this to these people?
I mean, the scary thing is I could probably talk for 30 minutes on anything. So let's be clear.
But it is church, so this is not Starbucks.
Necessarily mean.
So everybody gather around because I'm going to tell you a story about what Nancy said the other day. And
I could talk about the moon. I could talk about all kinds of things. No, I mean, I think having grown up in church life and been following Jesus for, almost 25 years now, there's a lot that I've walked. And I think it's always easy for me to very quickly just talk about the faithfulness of God. There's something that's really beautiful. Eugene Peterson talks about the long road of obedience, like just staying on the road of obedience with Christ. And there's something about, every mile marker that you walk with the Lord, you're able to turn around and go, I see your faithfulness there. I see, even if it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, I can't deny that you were there. You were with me. You were faithful. Your word was still true. And I think for me, that's something that just lives within my being at all times. Like I'm constantly reminding myself of God's faithfulness and wanting to remind people of God's faithfulness. Faithfulness doesn't mean we get everything we want. Faithfulness means that his word remains true, that he remains with us, and he does what he says he's going to do. Not in our timeline, not in our time frame, or in the wish and wants and desires that we all want, but it is always true. And I think there's something, if you get off the road at mile marker 11 because you're just disappointed and frustrated that God hasn't shown up the way that you wanted him to, well, you don't know that mile marker 30 was the place in your story where God was going to be like, see what I did there? Like,
can I throw in an asterisk? No, an asterisk means negates what you said. A plus.
A plus.
A
yes.
plus. Because I always, sorry, I'm trying to sneeze. I always couldn't understand how the Israelites could be like,
I also want to say, you're just like, I have to sneeze and you're rubbing your eye.
it actually helps.
To avoid the sneeze?
If I push on my right eyeball, the sneeze goes away.
Is that for everyone?
Yeah.
Or just you?
Just me.
Should we all try that when we need a sneeze?
It pushes the sneeze away. Is that weird? We don't all do that?
I've never done that, but now I want to.
Try it next.
Okay.
I could never understand how the Israelites could watch a sea like science
Split. Right.
and then they end up like, you are changed forever. Like, when you get over there and you start getting hungry because you don't have any food, who cares? You saw a sea split.
But we are a forgetful people.
That's what I was gonna say. I had some miracles happen in my life past couple years with addiction and marriage. Like, that was God. It took about 6 months for my mind to go to just forget, and I went back into life as normal. So those monuments, I understand them now.
Oh, I totally understand. Oh, I love that.
Just to stack up.
Yes.
Those,
which is why God, I think he always reiterates, meditate on my word both day and night. Like, there's never a season where we get exempt from that, because he knows our nature. Our nature is to forget. Our nature is to not have the tangible God that we believe in right here in front of us. And so our flesh is prone to wander. It's prone to want satisfaction through something else, or a resolution or a solution through something else. And yet it always falls short. It maybe not in the moment, but eventually it collapses and it doesn't work, and it leaves us worse off than we were. And so that's why God's like, meditate on my word, know my word. I think we have a generation that's really Bible illiterate. They don't know the nature of God. They don't know the character of God. So they misinterpret context from scripture based on really limited understanding, instead of being able to read the Bible in its totality and understand that, like, everything that God did had a purpose and it had a reason, and it was always for our good and our redemption. There was never a moment of any story where that wasn't part of the story. But again, if you get off on this detour over here, you don't get the full story. And that's the importance of just a life that says, I'm committed to following you to the very end, because I know at the very end so much more is going to make sense than it does even right now. Right. And even if it doesn't all make sense, and it doesn't, there's still mystery because he's God and I'm not. But you can't deny his faithfulness. I cannot deny where God has shown up in my life. I can forget it and have to be reminded, but I can't deny it.
Right. So. That's good. Let's go with a Hope Darst specific question here. All right. Just as I have a routine for, finding that one magical question that was like, oh yes, there it is. It's not easy. Those aren't just sitting there a lot of times, Some days I can just sit in front of a laptop and a great moment will come to you like, oh yes, this is going to be huge.
That's the question.
Sometimes I need a walk.
Oh.
Sometimes I need a song, like a movie soundtrack to kind of just
get you in like an imaginative, creative space.
Yeah. Writing a worship anthem that will help a normal person connect with their creator. Where is that place for you that avoids the torture of a blank page? Because you're not playing games here. You're not writing a pop anthem that's, as long as it sounds good, it'll be fine. No, you're helping people.
It's theology.
Yeah, this is very deep. This is life and death to some people. And when you're stuck, where do you go to start that?
Oh gosh, process? That's a good question. I mean, I think a lot of times when you're stuck and you're not, like, I have a song right now that I've probably worked on the last couple of years, and I just haven't been able to like resolve it. And so I think at some point you just kind of walk away from it and you recognize either that song's going to circle back in another season and it'll be clear how to write that for the church, or eventually that thing is going to turn into another song, because that revelation or that scripture or that thing that you're wanting to write about for the church at large, it's still sitting within your spirit. So it eventually comes out somewhere. Yeah. Or you take it to a friend where you say, like, I feel like this is where I'm limited. And I don't have full vision for where to take this song. Can you come and partner with me? I think the biggest thing as worship leaders, it's the tension of having to be theologically sound, poetically interesting enough that it doesn't just feel like you've said the same thing, right, 100 times already, but yet universal, that it's true to the real life faith journey and experience that we're all walking through. And yet I think for me personally, I try to really avoid songs just being sad, and like there's got to be a thread of hope in it, not from a like I'm ignoring the hardship, because I don't think that helps either, or the conflict or the tension of the journey of faith. But at the end of the day, like there is a hope. Like our story of following Jesus, there's hope in that. So I think if that's pulled out of the songs, then it doesn't make sense. The older I get, the more I just want to write songs that are straight, like this is who Jesus is, about his character, and less about like my own personal journey. I was talking to Leland Mooring one time, and he was talking about how like in ancient, I forget like what era, but it was like a long time ago, they would call it high worship and low worship. And so high worship was the worship that was like when you were walking into the church and you were singing corporately, and everything was like high praise, to just praise and glorify the name of Christ. Like it was all vertical. And then there was low praise, which was not, it wasn't deemed like better or worse. They just served two different purposes. And low praise was more of the poetic, personal experience, personal journey with the Lord, and how that, you know, more artful expression. And I think that was really, it was helpful for me to hear that, because it helped me go, okay, there's a place for both, and just knowing what you're called to do each season, right? Like I write with my church, and that's always going to be vertical, and then I do records, and it's a combination of the two. So
like the belongings, because I do a 2-hour vertical worship set on Friday afternoon on the Joy FM that people just love, and it's that theory you described where I'm, you know, faith-based music is sort of turned into low worship with a Toby Mac song thrown in. Whereas this 2-hour set I do, I want all the verb. So when I play
all vertical.
So, you know, when I think of Belonging Co., Every Victory, Danny Goki, every victory, you're singing a worshipful song. But then when you go into I Love You, Lord, it's straight to his ears, and it changes the atmosphere in the room. And
there's a place for it all, but it's like, you know, Peace Be Still obviously is like, still to this day is like my biggest song, but I won't end my sets with it if I can avoid it. Because it's not vertical. And when I'm, as a worship leader, even though like if you were living in the mindset of like an artist, right, you usually end with like your biggest song in a concert. But I'm a worship leader, and in my mind, I immediately go, well, that song's not vertical. And I want people walking out of this room not thinking about me, and not thinking about the journey or the struggle that they're in right now. I want them leaving this room thinking about the greatness of our God, the power of our God, the faithfulness of our God. And so it's too, like, I put that in my sets because I do think when you tap into the personal, it makes him not seem like just this distant, big God sitting on a throne that doesn't know you and isn't personal and doesn't understand. Not accessible, and not familiar with the journey of humanity, right? So, but it should lead to something greater than ourselves and greater than just our journey, you know, here on earth. So,
Boy, I could talk worship with you and moon landings with you all day. Like, you and I could probably spend a couple hours at a Starbucks.
Maybe we should have a show.
We should. But not tell anybody about it.
No, just for us.
That's sort of just going for coffee.
We just meet like once a week in front of a green screen. And this is how we do it.
With microphones, but they're not plugged in.
But we never air it. Never
or
once.
Record it.
Don't even record it.
That's the point.
Someone somewhere's doing that. They're practicing.
Yeah.
They're preparing. They're preparing in their hidden season.
You were always one of my favorites.
Oh, thank you.
And
I love getting to talk to you.
Yeah, and anybody that wants to hear more Hope Darst, we play a whole bunch more on Joy Worship. It's almost Hope FM.
I like it.
Yeah.
You should consider changing it.
Yeah. Haley, you got that? Write that down. Write it down.
New year, new name.
Yeah. We'll end right there. Let's find up so that we don't have to stand up, because that's so hard.
Standing is hard.
Let's find out.
Isn't that funny though? Like, your whole job is sitting, and my whole job is standing.
That's right.
So I'm like, what do you mean it's hard?
Let's find out what the green screen was behind
yeah.
us this entire chat. So when people go on Instagram, see clips
What
of
do you
us
want
chatting.
it to be?
I don't even know what's in here.
We don't know the options.
No. It could be anything. We've got an envelope that Hope is opening.
I'm so nervous.
It's going to unveil what the green screen has been.
A dentist's office.
A dentist office.
Like a chair? Like what is?
I don't
what
know.
Is what is the
Our
picture
video-
of a dentist's office?
our-
Also, that's like the number one thing that people are scared of.
So I hope they're doing a full-on crown.
Okay, no joke. It's not a dentist's office, but my kids got braces last year, and my youngest, I don't know what's going on, but every week that kid breaks a bracket, like something falls off. I have been to the orthodontist office more times than I have ever wanted to be in my entire life. So this feels
You're going to be right
accurate.
at home. Let's do one more of the prize wheel.
All right, let's do it. Come on, prize. That was a better spin.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, it was so close. Oh, there we go. Oh, prize. Hey.
Hey! Wow. Oh, the confetti machine's broke. All right, you picked prize. We actually have a prize closet with gifty poos right over there.
Gifty poos? That's a terrible. I don't want a prize of poo.
Do I have to edit the word poo? Pick what.
It feels like a dentist office. You know how like you get those like gifts at the end of a dentist office?
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be a fake ring? Like
I don't-
what is?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, there's like real gifts.
Yeah, real gifts. Spared no expense. Oh, okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm terrified.
Actually, I don't remember.
This is a toilet cleaner. If I'm
All right.
do I get a second prize? If I guessed it in the package, do I get a second prize? Here we go. I guessed it. I knew.
For the record, this plunger is brand new.
Are you saying I'm like trash, like toilet water?
You picked it.
I did pick it.
They're not all
Thank you.
plungers.
This is the greatest gift I got all day.
Now, do you have a room that has no plunger? Or do all your bathrooms have one?
How do you think I own a plunger?
Look at this. It was the Lord.
It was the Lord. The Lord makes a way. He prepares.
The Thursday afternoon chat. Your favorite artists with Jayar.